welcome to you wherever you find yourself. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn. This is your weekly dose of IoT Tuesday, the only IoT show on the continent that demystifies IoT and all the goodness about it. I am yours truly, Samuel Adjani. Welcome to another thrilling episode. In today's episode, we're continuing from where we left off last week, where we saw how to store the data in Cosmos DB. Today we're taking it the next step on how to visualize the data. So the question is that why am I doing this? Well, we are building a home environmental monitoring system, and part of it will need us to store the data, and part of it also need us to visualize the data to make meaning out of it. So we're building this incrementally in modules. After today's session, that we've seen how to visualize it, now we're going to go ahead to see what we can do with the data we get. Can we do some predictive maintenance on it? Can we do some predictive analytics on it? Well, we're going to see in the next episode. But in today's episode, when we come back, we are going to see how to visualize using Stream Analytics and then Power BI. So do stick and stay with me. We'll be right back. Awesome, we are back, back. Welcome. If you're just joining us, this is IoT Tuesday, and I am yours truly, Samuel Adjani. Well, people say I have some crazy energy. I don't know. Maybe it's because I just, maybe just because I'm just loving what I do. Well, if you're joining us, please make sure you subscribe over here, and then hit the bell. Ding! Subscribe so that anytime we go live or we post new content, you're going to have it for yourself. As always, before we get into it, a couple of things I want to get out of the way. Not necessarily get out of the way, but just things I want to talk to you about. Then we can proceed. So, if you are not aware, Death Around the Sun is going on. Yes, yes, Death Around the Sun is going on. Yeah, it's an effort to raise funds for people affected with COVID-19, and yours truly, I'm part of the speakers. I'm actually on tomorrow. Let me share this with you. So yeah, I am on tomorrow at 6:50 UTC, live on Twitch and YouTube. It's actually ongoing. The other sessions ongoing, but I will be talking about beer and IoT, which is a never-ending story. I might be dropping hints of what I'll be doing tomorrow, but so this is not going to be like a technical, thing. It's not going to be a deep dive. It's not going to be a, hands-on coding session. It's just something fun. Enlighten you about the various tools I use and how, why the idea and the use cases, just to raise funds for some COVID relief projects. So this is happening right now, but I am on tomorrow from 6:50 UTC live on Twitch and YouTube. I'll see if I can get the stream onto my channels as well, so you can watch from there. So if you're joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. It will be really cool to let us know where you are, connecting with us from, so we can give you some shout out. Well, back to today's project. So, like I mentioned, we are going to do some visualization, right, with our sensor stuff. Well, if you're just joining us and you're not aware of what we're doing, I think you probably should go back and watch my previous episodes of the show where I've set up. We currently have, if we take it to the bench right now, we currently have IoT rig set up here. We have a Raspberry Pi. Where's my cozy pen friend? Yeah. So we have a Raspberry Pi here. We have a DHT11 temperature humidity sensor, which is sending data to Azure IoT Hub through the Raspberry Pi, which is running a Node module. We also have here a fan right here. Let's see if I can just bring this a bit. Yeah, we have a fan here, right, which is also controlled by our IoT Hub. So today we're going to see how we're going to, well, last week we saw how to store the data that's coming from our DHT sensor. So today we're going to see how to visualize that. We're going to use a couple of things to do this. Well, yes, one more thing that I think I just missed to talk about, but briefly, just give me a few minutes. Let me pull this up quickly. Um, So it it has to do with a project that is underway by my colleague MVP Frank Odum. We collaborated to do this, but he's actually, taking running point on it. He's like the forefront of it. It's actually the C Sharp Virtual Bootcamp series. Yeah, it's actually free. I had to talk about this, else it would have killed me. Well, but it's a free C Sharp Bootcamp. It started on the 11th and it's going to end on June 5th. It's free. 4 weeks intensive every day. I think it's an hour a day, morning session and an afternoon session. It's in groups of 20. So if currently the first set is already underway, if you really are interested in joining, send me a message or just ping at me or something, and I'll add you to the next set for the next session. So that's just out of the way. Awesome. So um uh okay. So let's get up. Let's get to it. 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 Awesome. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Just ask me. Um, I mean, no question is stupid question. If I don't know it, I'll just tell you I don't know it. I'll probably just go find out about it and share that with you. So not to worry about that. Okay, so let's get going. So let me open my rig. Um, this is not what we were doing. So let me take you here. So let's actually close this and open our, where is that? Okay, let's open a new window because we're going to connect to our Raspberry Pi right here, and then we're going to look at the sensor data, and then um, I'll take you to our Cosmos DB to see the data that we saved last week, just a recap, and then we'll start today's episode. So in today's restart extension notes. So let me give you the agenda for today. Let me make this big, 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 big. I think this is huge enough. So currently we already have our IoT set up. We have the data going into IoT hubs. That's one of the prerequisites we need. We have um we have Azure Functions in the mix where data is actually being sent from Azure Functions to our Cosmos DB, which we did last week. If you missed it, go check out that episode. So we have those prerequisites done. Now, to be able to consume or send data to Stream Analytics or to create to give access to the data coming into IoT Hub, we're going to create something called consumer groups, right? Now, what consumer groups do is that they allow you to create define setting like input or output or like source of data that other applications can tap into. It's just like you're creating buckets of data streams where other applications can call into that stream and pull the data. So today's agenda, first of all, we're going to create a consumer group. Then we're going to create and configure the stream analytics because that's what we're going to be using to stream the data to our dashboard. And then we're going to create and publish a Power BI report to visualize the data, right? So let's get right into it. Before then, I was just going to let's go ahead and open our solution. So I think I need to open the configuration for it. I think the the IP address for the Raspberry Pi changed. So we just have to change that. Let's say connect to host. We're waiting for that. Okay, so it's activating it. Yep. But whilst that's happening, let's open our Edge browser and go into our IoT hub, and then see if we can just start, we can go ahead and start creating some of the things we need, some of the things we, and feel free to, put in your questions if you have any. So let's go to portal.azure.com, and let me make this a little bigger. Okay, I'm going to go off and enter my super sensitive email and password. I'm right here. I'm not gone. Just entering my email and password. Okay, that's the application. Okay, that's saving that. Cool. So here we go. Let's go to our IoT Tuesday hub. That is where all the magic is happening. Let's see. Make this a little bigger. I mean, so we can cover, we can see a lot more of the areas that, okay, so let me configure the host, and I think it's on port 11. And I'm sure you're asking, how did I know it was on port 11? Well, I'm going to show you a bit here. Minikube updates. So, okay, so I'm going to show you how I know it's 11. So let me flip quickly to my Pi. So this is my Raspberry Pi as you're seeing right now. And if I should go to the wireless, you can see that that's the IP address 100.11. So that's how come I know it's 11. Because I'm creating this configuration file that allows me to connect to the Raspberry Pi. So dependencies, yeah. So forgive me, a lot of stuff is happening on my Visual Studio Code extensions because I use that extensively. All right, so with this fixed, I can go back and connect and say connect to a host 11. It's going to ask me whether it's a Linux machine and then ask me to enter my password. I mean, if you've been following me on the stream, you know this. I've been doing this a couple of times, so you should be familiar with this. Yeah, it's a Linux machine. And yeah, continue. Let's enter our super sensitive password. And yeah, and our aggressive antivirus is doing what it knows how to do best. All done. Already got. Okay, so it looks like this is done, so we don't need it again. So yeah, it's actually SSHing into it. Uh, let's retry this. Okay, open remote is a Linux machine. What is it? Something installing or initializing? Maybe some updates is just um. Okay, some. Let's do this again. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Connected to VS Code server. Please connect. Please connect. Please connect. Linux. Enter. Please enter to confirm. Okay. Yes, that's what we want. Like something is happening. Oh. Uh. Boop. Oh. So I'm kind of caught in some loop right now. Already in progress. Server installation process already in progress. Waiting and retrying. Okay. Um. I guess I'm probably just going to leave this. Install terminal. Showing password prompt. I'm just making sure. Okay. I think I'm going to restart. There's something funny going on. So I think when I installed the update, that's probably what's causing it. Let me get rid of this. This for now. This. So step one is what we're going to do now. So this the current step. Okay. Let's go to the new window. I just want to open the solution so we can see the data going. Hey, we have our champion. I mean, I think he deserves a round of applause. Welcome, Chris. Thanks for grazing us. Thanks for making a date with us. It's awesome to have you on the stream. Hopefully, one of these days I can pull you onto the show for you to come and do some of your IoT stuff. I'm sure that would be awesome, because I've seen you do some IoT stuff as well. So it will really be interesting to have you on the show. I mean, so you can share some cool stuff, with us. Well, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Let's go ahead. Let's connect again. We're connecting to a host. We have all that set up. Hopefully my extensions don't mess up again and we can just go straight to it. But in the meantime, okay, let's do where is that? Remember and trust. I know my antivirus is very aggressive. Sure, 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 sure. Awesome. Uh we'll make it happen. Yep, yep, definitely Chris. I'm going to make sure that happens. So it's a Linux box. We can actually close this. Then you can put in the password. And hopefully this should go up. Uh-oh, we are in the loop again. Okay, you know what? Let me see the output. Let's actually see what's happening. What's happening? Setting up, okay. That's fine. Hmm. Quick one, Chris. Have you encountered this situation before where it looks like my Visual Studio Code is stuck in this login loop when I'm trying to remotely SSH into the Raspberry Pi? Because this is new. I've never had this happen to me before. Let's see. Yes, it's a Linux box. Okay, it's asking for. Hmm. Oh, couldn't establish connection. Let's see what it's saying. Stop passing. Okay, so it. Let's go to the Pi. So let's close the remote. You know what? Let's go to our Pi and see what's happening to the Raspberry Pi right now. Let's see, just to be sure. Um, Nothing crazy is happening. Yeah, so this is 11, right? Okay, let's see. Let's see what we can do to it. This is strange. This is very strange. Very, very strange. Okay, let's see. Well, I think I'm just going to unexpected, but it seems really weird. Yeah, it is because I've never experienced this before. Uh, let's see. Let's do this. I'm just going ahead to let me restart the Pi and see. I don't know, but I might probably go ahead and create a new configuration for the Raspberry Pi if that becomes like a headache or something we need to look into. Thanks so much, Chris. So whilst we're waiting for that, let's just go ahead. Um, let's go ahead and let's go through the steps we need to get our consumer group created, and then we'll come back to the Pi and try to send the data. So like I mentioned, consumer groups, okay, they provide like independent views, okay, into the event stream. So if you've been doing databases, the concept of views where I can actually create a view that exposes certain data set or data point. It's kind of the same thing with consumer groups. So I can create a consumer group that exposes a set of data streams or events, and then other applications or uh, other Azure services can actually tap into those consumer groups and get the data from that point. So that is what we're going to be doing. So let's see how that happens. So to do this, we have our portal open. Let's go into our built-in. So let me make sure you can see this. So yeah, so here, so we go into our built-in endpoint and then go all the way to event, right? Event here, all right, right? So event is the default endpoint and is used until we create a custom routing. I mentioned I was going to create a custom routing, but we haven't done that. I'll make sure to do that in the next episode. So this is kind of like the default. This is the default event to which all other like any other events happening in the IoT hub, other devices are subscribed to. If you remember, the last time we're creating the Azure function that pulled the data. All right, sure, Chris, sure thing. So the last time when we created the Azure function that was collecting the data from there, you realize that it used the default consumer group. All right, it used the default consumer group. That's because by default, when you create an IoT hub, you get a default consumer group created for you from which you can have other applications connect to and pull data. All right. So to do this, let's go ahead and then I'm just going to enter the name of a new consumer group, as you can see here. Um, let's say, let me call this consumer group. What name should we give it to it? What name should we give to this consumer group? What name should we give to this consumer? What name? Okay, let's call this reporting. Okay, right? So reporting, and then I'll click outside or click or save, and that saves this for us. And we should have the reporting consumer group. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right. So we have the reporting consumer group created right here. Now, the next thing we need to do now is to create our stream analytics job, right? And we're going to use the stream analytics jobs to do the stuff we want to do. But in the meantime, let's check on Pi to see if it has. Okay, it's booted, and funny enough, it's still giving us a configuration, an internet address of 11, as you can see from here. Let's see if we can do this again. So let's open a new window, and I'll try to create like a new connection so that we can. So I'm going to go ahead here, and then I'll say remote SSH connect to a host, and then it's still let's hmm let's try connecting to this again. Let's see. I'm just out of curiosity. Let's see how this. There's a Linux box, and then we're doing root. We're doing root. It's still gone into the. It's still gone into the loop again. Ha ha ha. Okay. Nah. Let's see if I create a new config. This should pick up. So let's go here. Let's say open configuration file. Okay. This one here. So yeah, 192.168.100.11. Unless of course we have. Yep, the username is Pi. have this going. Okay, save this. And let's go. So connect to a host. Let's say let's add a new host. Okay, so let's say it is let's say S. So let's try this. Let's just say SSH pi at 192.168.100.11. Okay, all right. Yeah, we are updating this one. So now you can see that we have like two configurations. That's fine. Uh, pa, 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 pa. This is the one that has been added. Okay, so let me just go ahead and delete the first one. Let's save this. So we know this is properly saved. Now let's go and do connect to host. We are connecting to this host. Actually, let me close this. And it's a Linux. And what's the password? Then, this is okay. Select the platform of the remote host. It is a Linux box. And enter the password. Yes. We have the password here. And this is very strange. I mean, this has never happened before. Could it be an update or something that's causing it? Because this is just uh okay, you know what? Let's go back to the Pi. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what's happening to the Pi. Okay. This is the host name. Okay, so I'm going to try to see if I can change the password and then reboot it. So we try this again. So um let's do this. Actually, let's do this together. So uh, host name, we have Raspberry Pi here. Okay, auto login, not wait for the network. Splash screen is enabled. I know that change password is, but I'm just trying to make sure that all my interfaces are enabled. Camera, SSH, VCN. Because of development, that's why I've enabled all these things. Performance, localization, that's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and change the password. All right. So let me enter my, my super, 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 super crazy password. And guess what? Let's bring in our super keyboard. Do this. So let's try this again. All right. So um okay. So hmm, yeah, and okay. Okay. Password has been changed successfully. Okay. Let's reboot. So I don't know if it's an update to the SSH extension that's causing it, but and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close this for now. Let's come back here. So like I'm saying, I don't know if it's the if there's an update to the SSH host that is causing it, but yeah, I guess we can we can get this going. I'm very sure that uh yep. Uh okay. Okay, 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 okay. All right, let's go ahead and let's check. Um, my consumer group has been created. Um, let's go back here. I really want us to resolve this because without the without the data coming from the Pi, we'll not be able to visualize that coming up. So that's why I'm a bit concerned about um, having that. Uh, so let's see. Okay. So now that we have this running, oh no, let's go back and check. Did it give it the same IP? Okay, it's still 11. Okay, cool. Let's go back here. Now that it's still giving it 11, let's run this. We will be asked to actually, um, okay, let's connect again. Since it's still 11, our host and IP address is still the same. All right. It's just the password that has changed. Yeah, we're connected to this. The next thing is just to ask whether it's a Linux box or yes, it's a Linux box. This is normal. And then it should ask us for the password. Then we enter the password. No, there's something wrong. So it looks like there's something fundamentally wrong with Visual Studio. I don't know if it's some update that's happening, but let's look at the details quickly here. So what's the details is what's the Pi's password? Enter the password. So it said something here. Let's see. Got so enter the password. Install terminal quit with output. Receive install output. Resolve error. Let's look at more actions. What do I need? Just telling me enter the password. Oh, okay. Let's see. Installation already in progress. Yes. Okay, 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 okay. Acquiring lock. Oh, oh. So why I think I figured it out. So it's this particular file. Let me actually copy it somewhere. So home pi vs code server bin blah 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 blah. This lock, which one is this? Oh, that's 7. See? Okay. So I think I've seen this before. The file already exists. So I think it's trying to create a lock to enable me do the remote connection, but that file already exists. So let's do this. Uh, what's the file again? Let me copy the file here so I can refer to it. So let's go to the Pi. I think I know why. So let's open this. It's in Pi. .vs code. No. Oh, okay. Where are we? Where are we? So let's go to view, show hidden folders. Yep, .vs code. No, it's actually up. Yep, VS code server. Then 23C. Uh-oh. It's actually see it this way. So this is a 23C. And then there is a file here called VS Code block pi. It's D6 something. Ah, okay. So the file exists. So how about I become very inquisitive? I think deleting this and deleting that, okay, should resolve the problem. Okay, so with that, let's come back here and let's try this again. So connect to a host, 11. I hope this works. I think I've seen this somewhere related to a log file. Something, yeah, fixed it. Yep, live debugging. Yep. So, Chris, if you're still watching, what happened was that there is a log file that's created on the Linux host or the Pi host that was already for some reason was in existing and the connection was trying to recreate it. So it was always conflicting. So I had to go into that folder and delete it and whoop, it's all back to working. Awesome. Okay. Whew. Yeah, that's a feeling you get when you get stuff done. Okay, let's open the repository. So now we are in Pi, dev. Let's open this, and then it's the Node app, and let's open this one. So now, uh, yeah, have to still provide. At least I know when this happens, I know how to resolve it again in the future. All right, so let's do this. Let's get rid of all these ones and just leave the one Visual Studio Code we have. So this is the device code. Let's close this. As you can see, nothing crazy. Yeah, I'm not going to run this yet. At least we have this going. So perfecto. All right, so let's come back here. Let's go ahead and create our consumer group. So our consumer group is created. We have the reporting consumer group. All right. Uh, so we have our reporting consumer group. That's fine. Let's just make sure that we have couple of stuff going. Cloud messages, that's 10.1.1, that's fine. Yeah, but the key thing is creating your consumer group. So we've created a reporting, that's fine. Now, the next thing for us to do is go ahead and create, configure, and then run our stream analytics jobs. All right. So to do this, as you all know, let's go back to our home. Let's go to create a new resource. And this is going to be found in Internet of Things. And then we need to look for stream analytics job. Go. All right. Now, three things we need. We need to get the name of the job. We need to get the resource group and the location. All right. We need to use the same location as our resource group, just so it makes it much easier for us. So if I pick the IoT Tuesday resource group, hold on. It has to be the same now. The location has to be the same um as our resource group. All right. So let's go to our resource group. I just want to be sure where I put my resource group so we don't have any. So we know our resource group location is in East US, all right? East US. So let's go ahead. Let's go home. Let's add IoT Stream Analytics job. So IoT Tuesday, that's so it's just in East US, US East. All right, so this is cloud. It's not on an edge. So if we're deploying this to, let's say, an edge device, which is serving as like a gateway or an edge connecting other field services or devices, that's what we're going to use. So let's call this the IoT Tuesday. Yeah, streams analytics job, right? So that is set. Then we'll just go ahead and click. Let's see. So streaming unit, yeah, up to 3. At this point, we um, will not secure it yet. I mean, but in production, you would want to do this, all right? For the purposes of this demo and a session, we're just going to leave it that way. Then we're going to click create. This is going to go ahead, and then it's going to create a stream analytics jobs. Now, once the analytics jobs is created, we need to create an input. Okay, we need to create an input to that stream analytics job. All right, so let's go to the resource. All right, as you can see, we don't have any inputs. So the input is where the data is coming from. All right, and the output is where the data is going. So that's where we can probably say we are pushing this data to Power BI. All right, coming in from IoT Hub and then going into what? Power BI. All right, cool. So here we go. So what we want to do is we go to input. All right, and then we're going to add a stream what input. Then we're going to select what IoT Hub, right? And then from that, the drop down list, okay, we can give an alias to the input there, so we can call it let's say IoT Tuesday. Yeah, so we're keeping IoT Tuesday as the default thing. All right, here, so we're going to select IoT Hub from an existing from our subscription. All right, so here, as you can see, IoT Tuesday. All right, so that's the alias, and then and then we're going to select messaging for our endpoint. Right, we can show all the other options. We are not doing any operations monitoring. This is messages coming into the hub. All right, then the shared access key, we're going to use one that is within the hub. Because this is an Azure to Azure service, I'm not really concerned. If it were a third-party application, I'll probably go ahead and create a new service account or a new access key and policy, or use it here. All right. Then the consumer group. All right. The consumer group is, we're going to use the consumer group that we selected. Now, if I leave this the default, what's going to happen is that it's going to say that anytime there is the data is coming, irrespective of where the routing is, it's just going to come straight to what IoT is going to come to the stream analytics. All right, but in our case, our consumer group, we created a consumer group, so we're going to use that consumer group. All right, so let's scroll, and you can see reporting consumer group here. The format is JSON. We're going to leave it there, and then we're not doing any event compression, so that's fine. Yeah, then all other fields are default, and save. So now we have created an input, all right, from which data is going to, come into our stream analytics jobs. Now, the next thing we need to do now is to create an output. Now, an input, as I mentioned, how the data is coming in, an output, where the data is going. So when the data comes through the streams analytics job, what do we want? Where do we want to send it? All right. So here, I'm going to add an output. So let's go to job topology, right? Which we have here on the left side, if you can see this. We're just going to now go to what? Output, all right? We did an input, which was IoT Hub. So the data is coming from the IoT Hub, and it's going to go to what? Power BI. Okay, so output, and then we're going to click on add. And this, as you can see, so these are the various outputs that, Stream Analytics can pass data to after it does whatever it's going to do to it. All right, so look at this. Azure Functions, Data Lake, Power BI, Cosmos, Service Bus, Service Topics, all these cool stuff. Now, we want to send it to Power BI. So I'm going to select the Power BI. And then now, I need to authorize, all right? I need to authorize the Power BI or whatever workspace I'm going to use to do that. Uh, I don't think I have Power BI on this particular account, but let's see. Let's authorize this and uh, let's see. Get Power BI. Okay, I think I have one that is demystify. Oh no, I think. Hold on. I think I have one. Let's try this. And yes, you will need a Power BI, and you can get Power BI free. So just go to the Power BI portal website. I'll share the link in the resources pretty soon, and then you can use that to actually create an account. So I think I have one with Hotmail. Pretty sure. Um, let's try. Hmm. Work or school account instead. Outlook. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use our Demystify one. So let's go ahead and use. Okay, let me try this first. I know it's also not going to work, but okay. So let's go ahead and let me use our Demystify account. So yeah, yep. So I have a Power BI. Just so you know, I have a Power BI account with that particular with this particular account. That's why I'm authorizing. So the data can now move from this stream analytics jobs into that one. And as you can see, I have a couple of group workspaces there. I think I'll just go ahead and put it in the demystify technology. Or I can go ahead and, you know what? So let's do this. Just going to go to powerbi.com. It's going to resolve. I'm going to log in. And what I'll do is that I'm going to create a new workspace purposely for IoT Tuesday. So we can use that, right? Okay. So I'm just making sure. Okay, so we are in the correct one. So workspaces, I'm just going to create a new workspace, and then we're going to call this workspace IoT Tuesday, right? Oh, no, I can't even spell Tuesday. So IoT Tuesday, Power BI resources. Okay. Specific user. So contact list, everyone, OneDrive. Yeah, we're good. So there we go. So now I should have an IoT Tuesday workspace. I don't have any like data set. I don't have any report work. I don't have anything here at the moment. All right. I just created, I just went ahead just to create the workspace so that when I come back here, um, I can just now, I have to just close it out. Yeah, close it out first and then click on add, select Power BI just to give it time to reconnect. So let's do this again. Samuel.net next. Uh-oh. Demystify. Okay. Okay. I think I just fat fingered something for the nope. All right. And this is authorized. So the alias I just need to give it any unique name. All right. So I can say this is my let's just say Power BI output. That's unique within. And then now take a look at this. We have what IoT Tuesday showing as a workspace. I'm going to select it. And then now I need to enter a name for the data set. All right. I need to enter a name for the data set. So let's just say sensor data. And then let's just call it. Okay, let's keep it. Let's say um let's do this. Sensor data set, and let's call this sensor table, right? Cool. And then we're currently authenticated, so we're good. Um, yeah, let's just use manage identity, and then we're fine. And then I'll just go ahead and click on save. Okay, this is not support my based on okay, yeah. This is going to take my right. Thank you. Oh, I hope it doesn't affect my output. Okay, so that's it. Manage for me. Let's go to my output. Oh, I have to create this again. Yeah, because I didn't enable that. That's fine. Authorize. This is going to go through the process again. Don't worry. Mystify. MystifyTech.net. So sometimes when I'm typing my password, because I speak it, I feel like, oh, like I'm speaking it out. So this one is going to be Power. Oh no. Okay, let's say yeah, Power BI. Let's just call this sensor Power BI output. And our workspace is IoT, and I will call this sensor data set. Call this sensor table. Then we can save. Our managed identity is done, and that is done for us. Now, the next thing we need to do is now we need to create a query. All right. We need to configure the query that the stream analytics job is going to use. Uh-oh. 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 It says our output is not authorized. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let's use hmm. Mm, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Yep. So let's test it again. Initially it didn't go through because it said some authorization thing didn't go. But yeah, so this is the concept of a stream analytics. Oh, your streamer job is not authorized. What's happening? Let's see what's happening. No, let's go to our output. Let's select our output. Let's renew this. Um, Justify tech. Let's go here. Uh, no. I want to enter at any time I need to. Okay, and let me save this. Okay, let's test. Hopefully this works. Okay, so I was explaining the concept of a stream analytics. Now what's happening is that awesome, we're good. So its connection is done. So I was trying to explain how it works. So now we've created a stream analytics jobs. we've created an input which is going to come from the IoT hub, all right? And then we've created an output that is going to go to Power BI. So what's happening is that as the data, so it's just like a pipeline. As the data is coming through the stream analytics jobs, all right, we need to determine what we want to do. What are we sending? So here it's called stream analytics because you have the chance to work on the data coming in. So what we can say is that we can write our query to probably say, I want to just give me the average of the data coming in, all right? Or just give me maybe the sum of the data coming in. Whatever it is, you can use a query to do that. So let's go to query, still under job topology. Hopefully you can see this. So on the left here, let's go to query. Okay. And then you remember our inputs. So our inputs here, all right, is, so let me go ahead and boop, 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 boop. Okay, so this is our output, right? So we need to select into our output from our input. Okay, so our input here is, let me copy this. We called our input, I think we called it IoT. Hold on, Discard changes. Let's go to our input. Okay, as you can see, we have our input here called IoT Tuesday, which is actually showing down there. And then we have our output called what? Sensor Power BI output, right? So now let's go to the query. And I'm just trying to do the minimal of it. So our input, no, and put it into, let's go here. There you go. And then our input is what? IoT Tuesday, right? There you go. So what we've done here is simply saying that as the data is coming in, all right, let's go ahead and save the query. So what we're saying is that as the data is coming in, we want to select everything coming in and put it into this output. So that's what we're saying, that this, with the stream analytics, we can create multiple outputs, and then, but it's advisable that you have one active stream or one active word output. So that's what we're using Power BI. But you can have as many as you want. There's a restriction to the number, but right now we don't need that much more. So in a stream analytics, if you go to, let's say, so right now we're saying anything that is coming from IoT app, we should output that into this. So if I just run a test, so there's no data from input yet. Okay, so let's make sure there's data and then we can try. So let's try this. Let's now go here since we have it running. And as always, let's try to run something and send some data, right? So let's do this. Yep, some data is going in. And to make it even more effective, as usual, I'm going to try to increase the temperature, all right? So that we can have a bunch of values going in. So I'm just working the temperature right now. I'm sure this is not like a very common thing most of you have seen me do. All right. Okay. Okay, 60 is fine because my room is quite warm, so it's going to come down. So now we know there's data coming in. Okay. So if I test this right now, let's test run this. It's data coming in. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There's no data from the input. Okay. Is this running? Let's be very sure that our hub. Yeah, it's running. Data is being sent to the hub. Yep. Data is being sent to the hub. Okay. All right. So let's say input. Oh, there's data coming in. Okay, so well, I'm going to modify. I'm going to do something. I'm going to modify the code just a bit. so that I can have data going in to the hub like as as frequent as it is happening. Now, if we come back to my code here, I was explaining that I am not sending the data as it comes into or as it happens. I'm actually checking it against an old data point here. So let's do okay. Yeah, so this is it. So this code here, this is what I'm using to determine whether I should send the data, okay, to the hub or not. Now, with Stream Analytics, you want it to read the data as it's coming in. Okay, so as and when the data is coming in, it will start pulling the data. I wanted to test that. But what I'm going to do is that with this condition, this is what is checking if the new change is not different from the very last data that was sent to the IoT hub. I'm not pushing this data. All right, we're not pushing it. But for the sakes of it, I'll take this out so we can see the data coming into the stream. So let's just leave this here for now. And yeah, we've saved this and then we are good. So now let's go to the overview of our stream analytics job. And then I can go ahead and say, you know what? Let's start. And then once we click on start, yeah, let's start right now. Starting stream job. Start, let's start, let's start, let's start, let's start. And once it's okay, so starting, so you can see the status here, starting, starting. And what happens is that once that's happening, let me go ahead and okay, so status is starting. Now, so what's happening is that now the job is listening for um data coming from our hub. Let's go to our form. Um, I want to add some more heat so that I can have some more data going. And let me. This thing is really hot, man. So around 54. We are now 58. We are now 60. Okay, that's fine. We're supposed. My room is probably like 20 something, so that's this is cool. So yeah, so our stream job is started successfully. All right, our stream job started. So this is running. All right. Now let's go to our Power BI, and I'm going to refresh this. I should see a data set created. Let's go to our data set. Where is our data set? So we should see our data set created in here if everything we did went well. Workspaces. Okay. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Let's refresh this. Uh, let's ahead. Let's look at our output. Our output seemed fine. Yeah. Oh, so this is what it put it in the my workspace instead. It didn't put it in the it didn't put it so you can see it didn't put it in the IoT. For some reason when we created it, we didn't select the right space. That's why. Okay, so let's go to my workspaces and then let's go to my data set and take a look at this. There you have the data set. All right, the data set is here. And then check this out. If I just say create report from this data set, okay, let's click here. And so look at this. So the data that was sent from our hub is all here. All right. My only concern now is some of the data point that comes from, let me just explain this. So if you see the way the data is coming in, most of it was coming in as text. So like 55 is a string, 41 is a string. So I need to find a way to probably either change the way the data is sent so I can capture them and do, but then simply put the data is here. So um, um, we can just expand the table and then let's just drop something here. Let's do this. If I drag this here, as you can see, this is giving me um, this. You know what? Let me delete this. So here I can go as crazy as I want to. I can put this here, all right? And I can say I want to add the event queue to the axis, and then I want to add the temperature to the values. Take a look at this, and maybe I want to add, let's try the um, um, yeah, this is what I was okay. Let's try accountants. So this is what I was worried about. This is what I was worried about, that it, because it's a string, I'm not seeing, it's not able to differentiate that. Because it's a string, it doesn't see what kind of sensor data. Okay, data script, this is actually this is a DHT11. So I can go to the bench and show you. This is it. This sensor right here. This sensor is the one that's sending the data. Um, hmm, yeah. All device is the same. So I think what I need to do is probably go back and change the way the data is passed, and not pass the data as string. Obviously, we're not getting a count of the string, so there's that linear thing. So I have to go back to the code and change this. But that that's far from the point. So now, I mean, I can change this to, let's say, bar graph, and check this out. See that? I have data coming in. I could change this to a pie, right? And look at that, right? Right. Oh, sorry. So I was just, so yeah, I can go and change this to, like, a bar, and check that out. All right. Or let's go back a bit. Or I can just say I want a pie, and look at this. You know, very interactive. So look at the timestamp. So the enqueue time when the data was sent, you can see the values. All right. So now I'm seeing the count of temperature and the humidity. All right. If there was any other thing, I could add it to this. But the other stuff are not like values, unlike the temperature and humidity. So with the temperature and humidity, I'll just make sure, maybe after this, I'll just go, after this episode, I'll go change so that it's not a string anymore, and so that it's more of like an int or double or float or something, so we can actually. But here you go. We've created a simple, all right, stream job that takes input from our IoT hub, and then we can visualize it right here, all right, within Power BI. So we could get we could get as creative as we want. Let's say if I'm going to add, um, let me add a number here and see. And for this one, yeah, we're going to do the cross report. And this one, let me add, let me just add humidity here. And let me add temperature here. Mr. Vitamin, thank you. So as you can see, let me get rid of this for now. I can push this here, And all this, I can use the enqueue time. All right. And there you go. So you can see the various temperatures coming in from 28, and then you can see the various humidities also coming in. I think I should, if I squish this here a bit, I should be able to put this here and squish this too. And so you can see we have for humidity, we have for temperature, the values coming in from our sensor into this. All right. So this is how simple it is to actually visualize your data. Now, why is this important? Sometimes you want to have a dashboard and have real-time visualization of how things are faring. Now, one cool thing I like about Power BI is that I can create my own custom visualizations to kind of literally show parts of the sensor or the building or something and use like use heat maps and all those cool stuff. So with this knowledge, we've used Azure IoT Hubs, we've used Azure Stream Analytics Jobs, we've used Power BI, all right, to visualize this. Now, the possibilities are endless. Now, another thing we can do is that now we can now use this to create reports to know our daily happenings. Now, next steps, what can you do with this? Now, we can actually, now that we're able to send the Stream Analytics, we can actually send the data to Azure Machine Learning, right? To do some AI learning on the data that is coming so that we can tell, based on the data coming, should we send a signal to turn the fan on or off? So that now we don't manually control when the fan goes on or when the fan goes off. So once we have the stream jobs going, we can now pass data to it. That is how simple it is. So as you can see, we've been able to do all these things using the individual services. All right. We've been able to do this using the individual services that Microsoft Azure provides. IoT Hub, Stream Analytics, Power BI, and the rest. Now, if you don't want to go through the processes that I have just done, like going through this, building your own services, you can make use of the Azure IoT Central. That is like an all-in-one, toolbox that allows you to just connect your sensors, use device provisioning service to provision your device, create a device template, and the data goes in, and then you have a similar experience, all done for you. But you don't need to go provision IoT Hub, provision Power BI, provision all these things. Now, I'll show you how to do that in a later episode, but because we are building upon it, the next thing I'll probably want to show is, okay, I don't have Power BI. How do I visualize the data in my own app? All right. Thanks, Data Scraby. Now, how can I visualize this in my own app? So I would show this in next episode, how you can visualize it not in Power BI, but in your own web application or whatever which you can use like a third party D3 or another visualization service to visualize it if you want to. Then we can look at, okay, now we've seen how to send commands to, we've seen this in previous episode. Then we can see how we can use, logic apps to do notifications to say that, hey, when the temperature goes beyond a certain number, send an email, or we can use like Power Automate. When the temperature goes below a certain, threshold, send us an email, send us an SMS. I'll show you that in the next two episodes. So once we are done with that, we would have concluded our home environmental monitoring individual modules. Then in a very final season finale, we will now go ahead and connect all the various sensors, plug them into our Raspberry Pi, have them send the data through IoT hubs, all right? Have Azure Functions store some of the data, and then send the rest of the data to Stream Analytics jobs to be rendered on Power BI, and then to send notifications as and when. Then we would have completed that, and then we can move to the next project, which will be decided by you folks. Well, until I come your way again next Tuesday with another thrilling episode of the IoT Tuesday, this has been Similar Journey. And don't forget, tomorrow, well, I can only give you a hint on what I'm going to be using or talking about on my next show, like I mentioned. So currently, Dev Around the Sun is ongoing. It is like a 24 hours session to help raise funds for people with COVID. And tomorrow, mostly lurking in the background, but um, sure. I mean, you can always, Mr. Vitamin P, you can always go and watch the on demand. It's going to be on Mixer for a while, but most of it is kept on demand on YouTube, so you can check that You can check that. Hopefully, this has been very useful and inspiring. So tomorrow I'll be giving a talk on beer and IoT is a never-ending story on dev around the sun, and I can give you a clue on what's going to happen. When you see me pick a flick button, what do you think is going to happen? Hmm. What about if we add some LEDs? What do you think is going to happen? Or what do you think we add some sirens? What do you think is going to happen? If you want to know this, make a day with me tomorrow on Dev Around the Sun at 6:50 UTC, and you would know what I'll be doing with the flick buttons. Some beer. I'll be doing stuff with the flick button, some beer, and a couple of Azure IoT services in the cloud. So if you like this, don't forget to please subscribe right here, right here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And click the bell, all right? So you can get new notifications. Until then, until I come your way next week, another episode of IoT Tuesday. Stay safe. COVID is real. Uh, Maintain all the protocols giving so that we can go over this quickly and we can return to our normal lives. With that said, have the best of the day.